What's up guys, ShinyHunterDestroyer here and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon Journeys anime discussion video. Today I'll be talking about episode 62, which is titled Damp Drizzile. I'm super excited to talk about this episode because honestly, I have a lot to say about it. Don't worry, the episode made me feel so much better just about journeys in general. I'll talk about that soon though. We know what I have to do first. This episode starts off with Sobble hiding behind bushes, eavesdropping a little interview Ash and Goh are having, who are talking about their respective goals. Sobble is later seen jumping from bush to bush, practicing its sneaking and attack skills. After this session, Sobble starts to glow, about to evolve. Sobble noticed this and was excited. He's ready to become an Inteleon, which was really all on his mind at the moment. At this moment, Sobble has evolved into a Drizzile and was super ecstatic about it, until he was able to see a reflection of himself, where he realized he wasn't the Inteleon that he so desired to be, shattering his inner mind and spiraling himself into a depression. Drizzile walked around the Cerise Park trying to find a place where he can shut himself off. However, it was a struggle to find any area or cave around in the area that wasn't already occupied. Encountering Pokemon after Pokemon again and again, Drizzile's expressions or feelings didn't change. Goh was able to figure out that Sobble evolved because of his Pokedex, and after realizing, went to try to find Drizzile. It took a while of searching, but Cinderace was able to find Drizzile and lead Goh to where he was. This location would be in a little cave where Goh would have to crawl in. Goh would crawl into the cave, which was littered with water bombs on the ceiling. There at the end, Goh for the first time sees his newly evolved Drizzile. Goh tells Drizzile that Chloe and Ash were waiting outside and that he should go out, as it wasn't good to stay in such a dark and damp place, which was the cave they were currently in. After some attempts of encouragement and a bonking from Grookey, Drizzile still just want to stay there. It took Cinderace to crawl in and drag Drizzile out of the cave, but when they got out of the cave, they would be faced with something else. After forcing Drizzile to head out of the cave, they tried to encourage Drizzile some more, but this didn't help at all, as Drizzile had a tear escape its eye, causing it to turn invisible. From all the pressure, Drizzile escapes the park. Goh tries to chase Drizzile but isn't able to catch up as it runs away outside the lab. Goh goes to Professor Cerise, where they are all able to talk about the possibilities. Why is Drizzile acting like the way he is now? Flashing back to the change of personality Cinderace had before when evolving. Why was Drizzile secluding itself? They brought out many reasons, wanting a place to relax or preparing for its next evolution, similar to Caterpie evolving into a Metapod. Even though they can't say for sure, Professor Cerise saw it as something marvelous either way, saying what he thought to Goh and everyone else. But even after all that, they still struggled to find Drizzile, even with Yamper being able to help out, but Yamper couldn't help out because the scent was gone. It was getting laid out, but Goh still wanted to find Drizzile. Goh didn't want to drag Ash and Chloe along though, so Goh said to them that they should get back because it's, getting late. Ash and Chloe wouldn't allow that though. They catch up to Goh and tell them that they're gonna come along too. Goh thanks them and proceeds to really talk about how he's been feeling about all of this and what his inner thoughts were saying. All the questions he had. Why? That's the question that Goh was asking himself. Why was Drizzile secluding itself? And then Goh remembers back then to when he was younger, back at the school. Remembering this helped him pinpoint an area where Drizzile could be as he ran towards that area immediately. He reaches a building, and on the roof of this building there, Drizzile was, just sitting out, gazing at the stars. Goh sits down with Drizzile and starts to say his thoughts. Apologizing to Drizzile, Goh starts to talk about what he remembered. How he was someone that did the same thing, secluded himself from everyone, about how he didn't play with everyone else at the park, but didn't know the reason. Asking himself why? Over and over again, making him frustrated. He didn't have anybody to talk to about it with his parents at work, so he did the same thing as they are doing now, gazing at the stars, and that is why Goh pinpointed Drizzile to be here on this roof. He realized that Drizzile could be feeling the same way as he did before. Finding Drizzile up here meant that Drizzile and Goh were like each other, just gazing at the stars. And here, Goh opened up to Drizzile, saying no matter what Drizzile would want to do, it will all be fine. Goh would be waiting for it, even if it wanted to stay in its den. For whenever he would want to be around someone, he would be happy for it to be him. Drizzile catches one of Goh's tears, giving off a smile as he disappears away. The next day comes around and Goh went into the den Drizzile was in to check on Drizzile. What he crawled into was an entrance with no traps protecting it this time, but just a Drizzile laying down back to where it was before. With that, Goh runs back inside to eat with a smile, and the episode comes to an end. This episode, guys, I loved it. I'm not going to even start off with anything corny or anything like I usually do. This episode portrayed something beautiful and something I've always wanted to get more of a touch on in Journeys. This is the first episode in so long where I watched it again and again and again. And not only that, time after time, only more of my tears would escape my eyes as every rewatch just made me understand more and more and more. This episode proves Goh is the most relatable character ever in Pokemon. And that's what makes this episode and Goh's character so beautiful. Specifically the latter half of this episode with Drizzile and Gohs Development specifically. I'm super excited to talk about this today, and I hope you guys will listen to me. We've always known that Sobble has taken a liking to Inteleon and was inspired by it, so when evolving and putting its hopes up, it let itself get to a spot of disappointment because it realized it wasn't what it wanted to be, causing its downward spiral as it secluded itself. Wanting to seclude itself, it secluded itself in that den, setting up traps to discourage people from crawling into there. At this point, when Goh crawled in, Goh didn't understand what was happening. From the first episode we've seen Goh, it's evident that he enjoys being happier with both Chloe and Ash by his side and wanting the same thing for his Pokemon, to be happy. He was saying that everyone else was waiting for him because at this point, that's what Goh's life has been, with the friends that love him and that he loves back. Though Goh wouldn't be someone to force Drizzile out, he was still struggling to understand at this point, most likely as all he was doing was trying to encourage Drizzile, so Cinderace went up and did it himself, which is definitely under character for it now. Not that Cinderace had bad intentions. After Drizzile ran away, the little talk they had with Professor Cerise and the other lab assistants was a realization moment. Remembering back when Cinderace evolved and the changes it developed from Squirrel Bunny to Raboot to Cinderace, they brought Drizzile out to try to help, but this is where Goh realized more that Drizzile wanted to seclude itself, that they were too forceful in showing everyone its evolution. Even though Cinderace was the one that really brought Drizzile out, Goh blamed himself too. And this ended up with running to the rooftop that Drizzile came to, a rooftop so important to Goh's character, which I will get to later. The one-on-one with Drizzile and Goh was the single most important part of this episode because of just how many emotions it was able to capture. And here, Goh was able to talk about his past more, how he didn't want to play at school and how he didn't know why. He talked about his frustration with himself and how he didn't have anybody to talk to about it, so he just looked at the stars. All the things that Goh has said in this episode, I bet, is something he's always wanted to hear from someone. He was put into a similar situation before, so his way in helping is doing what he knows, what he wanted before. And that's what made Goh connect with Drizzile so easily. Goh would do the same thing. Just gaze at the stars. Looking back, this is not the only evident time that we can think about Goh doing this. I mean, why go to this specific roof since Drizzile could have been anywhere? In episode 2 of Pokemon Journeys, we saw Lugia, and that is when Ash and Goh met. Before they did meet, Goh was on a roof, and that roof would be where Drizzile and Goh sat this episode. Goh sat there with a tent, waiting for something. Did he need to tent out to find Lugia? No. Because why would he need to sit out there all night? To gaze at the stars the previous night, thinking back once again, doing what helped himself. We've seen Goh show his thoughts similar to this before in previous episodes, but this is one of the first episodes where it's really prevalent, where it's really coming to light, where it truly affected him. Back when raising Raboot, Goh had trouble understanding why Raboot was like he was, and now Goh understands Drizzile as much as he understands himself, and that's what makes this 101 so special. There's still problems in both of them, but there are two very different ways in showing Goh's flaws. Goh gave Drizzile someone he longed for before, someone to be patient with him, and someone that would understand him. And Drizzile's smile wasn't the only thing showing that the one-on-one meant a lot to Drizzile. In the final scene of this episode, Goh crawled into Drizzile's den. Drizzile set up traps the first time Goh was in here, but not anymore. What Drizzile would do to protect itself from people, he no longer did it. Goh's talk with Drizzile really hit its mark in a positive way. I can talk about more from this episode. Ash and Chloe came back for Goh after Goh dismissed them, which shows that they really do care for him and want to help, which is obviously a thing that friends would do. But I wanted to bring up Chloe. Goh didn't really make friends at school before, as we've seen. The only friend he really made was Chloe, and we've always been asking for somewhat of a history between them. In Goh's flashback, his teacher was talking to him, asking him why he wouldn't play with the other kids. And while Goh struggled to speak, Chloe was there in the background, the only one to turn her head and to take notice, to listen. Remember when I talked about how Goh needed someone to be patient with him? Chloe might be that person for Goh. Overall, I still think I'm missing some marks in this episode, and though I think this episode started pretty slow, the result was worth it, as it gave me a scene that I will remember forever. A scene that touched my heart because I feel the same way, because I understood that feeling. Not only did I understand that feeling, the episode did too, as each heartfelt moment was introduced with background music that would set the tone for what a scene would become, or maybe in some moments they just needed silence. The emotion captured in this episode from not only the music but Goh's voice acting and everyone else's voice acting, including Professor Cerise and the others, was spectacular, and it makes me more hopeful for the future of Journeys. Thanks for watching.